So we'll talk about building a community. We'll talk about finding customers, choosing a topic to teach, how to build a course, where to publish your course, money, and more. Okay, so it's going to be probably an hour and a half, so hopefully you'll stand still and like it. All right, so in this room, who has ever researched online course? If you raise your hand if you've ever researched online courses. All right, cool. Now about buying an online course. Okay, nice, good room. Started an online course? Okay, a bit less. And finished an online course? Even less, right? But you know the process. There's a part of like buying and there's a part of doing and finishing, which can be very difficult. So when you want to get started in the online course business, this is the master plan. First you make a course and then you sell the course to customers. And that's really just it, right? But you'll realize that this is not easy, and there's something about it. Where would you start? Do you start on making a course or selling a course or finding customers? Selling a course? Making a course? Finding customers? Selling it. All right, so it's somewhere. So
you make a course like be a participant.
No, to like actually create it and so on. Yeah, so the mistake I've seen most people do is that they actually start by making a course, and then when it's made, they put it outside and then it never sells. Because the first thing you have to do is to find your customers, to make sure there's demand and there's an audience for what you want to do. And that's number one thing, because actually the easy part, is to make a course. You're in your room, you do it, cool. Putting yourself out there is the most difficult part, the most mentally challenging, and the one people tend to do last. And if there's one takeaway from today's session, I'll talk about it right now, is number one, find your customers. And this is the first step you need to do. It's the most difficult one. If you've done this, the rest is going to be pretty natural, okay? So selling a course online is hard. The internet, although amazing and scalable, is not magical, okay? And once you do have a sense of people finding you, a community, the scale of the internet makes things go crazy. Like I would have never expected to have 3 million people online buying my courses and doing them. You know, it's insane. So you want first to create and gather a community, because without this community, you cannot sell anything. You will not be found, okay? And to find a community is to start now. So it can take between anywhere from 6 months to a year to build up your personal profile, to become that expert or whatever figure of authority in whatever you want to teach or sell, before you can actually gain the trust of your customers and actually sell them something. So starting today will give you payoffs way later down the road, but is extremely important, okay? So building your brand is probably the most important thing, and you have so many ways of doing it, okay? You have a platform you need to choose, and if I wanted to give you platforms, these would be the one. They'd be LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It could be a newsletter, it could be a podcast, could be Twitter or X, could be forums like Quora, Reddit, Stack Overflow for developers, could be a WhatsApp community, could be Telegram. That's overwhelming, right? There's so many ways you can go. So you need to choose 1 or 2 platforms, right? You can experiment, but you'll never get good at all of them in the beginning, and you need to choose 1 or 2 and get going. Usually, the more you post, the more it works, okay? It takes time. Nothing is magical, it takes time. So right now, if you're planning on doing something, take one of these platforms, the one you know the most, that you're most comfortable with, right? I didn't even write Facebook in there. Facebook's dead. But there is Facebook as well in there. But pick a platform and then post every week to get started. When you're comfortable with it, twice a week. Then maybe every day, right? Don't hold back information. Don't be like, okay, what I teach in my course, I should not tell online. Don't like tease. Make people happy with the content you're giving out. Don't leave some on the table, okay? If someone watches like, oh, that guy now wants me to pay $1,000 to finish his video. Nah, no good, right? You're not gaining customers, you're building frustration. It's not the best, okay? Make people love you, make them follow you, and then the rest will come naturally, okay? So to make this a bit more practical, right? Do you want to build a cooking course because you're into cooking, right? Of course, you start posting about cooking, right? Natural. But like, this is not all of it, right? This is a brand. This is a universe you're building around yourself, right? So you want to post about grocery shopping, or choosing ingredients, or what's your thought process on spices? Like, what's the most controversial idea you have a spice? Like, everyone should love coriander or something like this. I don't know. Or like spicy, the ones who don't like spicy are weak. I don't know. Like, whatever you want. But like, you generate a bit of discussion and you post content, right? It's a course about cooking, but here are my opinions about cooking. Pictures of what you eat, what gives you inspiration, why you like to cook certain food and not. Like, again, there's so much around this, not just about cooking, but about the universe of cooking. So whatever your topic is, it's not just about the topic itself, it's about everything that goes around it. Because end of the day, what's going to happen is that you paint a picture of yourself, of your ideas, your opinions, what you like to share, how you like to communicate, how people can relate to you, right? And the best rounded picture you can do will build a very strong personal brand and one that people will love. Make sense? All right, cool. You can hear me fine? Maybe I won't have any voice at the end, but let's see. So, inspiration, because sometimes starting fresh is scary, right? I mean, we all follow people online, so inspiration is out there. What do you like and what don't you like about them? But if you wanted to have a look at best-in-class people, Miss Excel, super good case study. She's on TikTok and Instagram. Went from zero to like building like videos of her dancing and doing Excel at the same time. You gotta see this. It's very good actually, and she's killing it. If you like jazz, go check out Open Studio. They have a great Instagram. It's insane. In like 10 seconds, they make you want to buy all their collection just because they teach you something so practical. Remember, like what you teach online, like in these like short bite-sized things, people will watch. They won't really remember. Some of them will. But most of them, they will just build connection to you, right? It's not the learning phase. It's really about building trust, building confidence, building inspiration phase, okay? So don't hold back information. No one's gonna steal your secrets, and your product still has a value even if you tell things, right? Jan is super good on, Jan Kui, super good on LinkedIn. Check him out. He has like very good content and posts. Bring your own laptop on YouTube for Photoshop. Check them out. They're very good. And then if you wanted to look at like people online, go on Udemy. That's a website on which I teach. It's a marketplace of courses. And then look at a topic, a niche. Look at the teachers of that topic. And then you can find their profile on the platform. For example, Phil Ebener is here. And he has links to his website, Facebook, and then just observe, like see what they do, how they communicate, how they have communicated in the past as well. Super important. So lots of research, right? But inspiration is out there. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. End of the day, you will find your voice, but it's completely fine to just get inspired a lot in the beginning, right? The one person that you should not look at online is me. Absolutely not, okay? I'm the anti-case study. Like I built my entire social media following from Udemy, and I'll tell you more about it later. And my social media posting is very, very little. On LinkedIn, if you want to check me out, really, for a few good posts. But I didn't build my social media going into the courses. Now, why am I teaching you the opposites? Why am I teaching you to build your social media and then your courses? It's because now there's only one way of doing it. It's the only way, right? Udemy was a bit of a emptier marketplace by then. Now it's a bit more full, so you need to build your brand in the first place. Not saying it's impossible, but this is the best way to do so. All right, so that's probably the main thing right here that I've seen blocking so many people. So self-judgments. Like here, who is worried about posting online about themselves? And it's fine to, yeah, there's a few people, right? Like it's scary. It's really scary. But you need to find your voice. And how do you find your voice? How do you know what to say online? By starting to speak. There's no amount of thinking that will tell you how to speak. Just speak. And then you'll see what resonates, what works, what doesn't work. You may hate yourself. You may think that your content is silly. You may think it's bad. You may think you're never good enough. It doesn't matter. Get out there. It will get better over time. And the most important thing is that some people will love you. Some people will love what you do. This is you, right? Look, don't try to be someone else. Be yourself. Be as weird as you want to be. Be as straight as you want to be. And maybe you'll change over time. And some people will hate you. Really. Like, you will find haters. what you have to remember in this online world, and it's people focus on who hates you. If you go to a restaurant and you say, oh, I didn't like the food, it was no good, the owner is gonna get at you most of the time. They're like, who are you? Like, do you like my food? You don't have taste, you're whatever. This is the wrong mindset, okay? These people will never buy from you anyway, right? Accept criticism. Sometimes it can actually be constructive, but don't change because someone didn't like you. Instead, really focus on people who love you, your fans, and the rest is noise. So why do they love you? Why do they care about you? And do more of that. I'll tell you an example, right? I speak very fast, and I used to speak even faster. And some people were like, this guy speaks too fast, and no, and they would just hammer me down. But then on the other side, they're like, this guy speaks fast, it's going well. Like, I'm not bored, it's going faster, like, he doesn't stay on the topic for too long. Cool, I'll keep on speaking fast, because these are the people who liked me, and they want more of that. I won't speak faster, though, right? But it gives you an idea of what it means, right? What may seem great for some people may seem bad for some people, and that's perfectly fine, it is for both. But what you need to focus on is those who like you, okay? Make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool. You like it so far? Yeah. All right, cool. So, this is our master plan. Still the same, right? But now it has more content. So, you build a community, and to build that community, you build your online presence or social media, one or the other, right? And this could be by doing updates, bite-sized learning, relevant news, content, teasers, talking about your personal life, whatnot. And frequency is up for you to determine.
Sorry, are you preparing in social media for your course that you're going to sell it? Or
Yeah.
you're not talking yet about the course?
No, just...
You're talking about yourself?
Yeah, yourself. Right now, just building community. Like, you're actually teaching. Your course, this is your playground for teaching. Like, oh, do people like what I'm saying? Do they want to learn more about this? Are they liking, I don't know. Like, this is your playground. This is not your full course. You're not posting your full course online, right? But like, definitely not tease at it. No, say it's coming. You can say it's coming at some point, but teach. Like, teach what you're teaching, what you should be teaching. Okay? Does that make sense? I'm gonna get some water. And good question, but I would most appreciate if you can keep the question for the end. Okay? Unless it's burning like this and you want to ask. All right. All right, before we go into creating a course, there is how much money can I make online? Like, is this really worth it, right? Those are like the top success stories that I'm going to share. Definitely not everyone's case, okay? But good to get a nice fat carrot in front of you when you want to get started, right? So Ankur Nagpal is the founder of Teachable, which is like a platform I'll talk about in a minute. And this was, I don't know when he shared this, in 2019. The top earner on Teachable was earning $5 million. 17 people earn over $1 million in a year. And there's more. This was like 2019. This was before COVID and the craze and so on. Miss Excel, when she brought her business, like she just went from nothing to 2 million in a year. You know, internet can be super scary. This one was a creator, Ashley. Like when I tell you about the importance of building community, Ashley had a massive community that loved her. And she's like, hey, I'm gonna make a course. She made $1 million in 40 minutes. No, but like to tell you about it, like the importance of building this community, right? Because, and you have to see this video, like she goes nuts. She goes like, because she films herself while launching the course, of course, and she's freaking out because, you know, money keeps on coming in. So really hope that tells you the importance of building this community first, right? And the bigger, the better. And on Udemy, there's a tool you can use to see how much a topic can bring. So for example, here the top Python courses bring about $70,000 a month on Udemy, right, on average. Revenue doesn't mean take-home money though, okay? Revenue is how much you make, but there's also cost we'll talk about. This is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? I'm not selling crypto or whatever. This is like, you have to take years to build a following, you have to build good courses, you have to build your community, people have to trust you, you have to build not one, but many courses most likely, and it takes time. But in the long run, it's worth it, really worth it. And don't be discouraged if you don't succeed in the beginning. Things compound. But compound over a crazy period of time, right? Like, I've been teaching for 8 years. I don't like to talk too much about my numbers, but like I've made millions with it. And the curve is flat, slow, flat in the beginning. And when it accelerates, you're not ready for it. It just accelerates. So don't be discouraged. It takes people sometimes 1 to 2 years. The important thing in these things is consistency. The more you do it, the more regularly you do it, the better it's going to become. And that's why you have to start today on the easy thing, which is start putting content out there online, okay? Which brings us to the topic of what should I teach? I want to build an online course, but what is my topic? So just a quick poll. Anyone here would have an idea about their topic? Like raise their hands, and some don't know, right? So some do, some don't know. So there is a wrong way to think about it. What's the wrong way? What do people want to learn? You know, you sit down, you're like, what do people want to learn? I think someone needs to learn about investing. Or I would love to build a course on healthy, I think people would love a course on healthy habits. Like, no, stop. Like, this is not the way it works, okay? It's not about what the market needs. The question is, what should I teach is all about you, because people will be learning from you. What is your life story? People want you. So today, what makes you special? What do your friends and colleagues admire you for? Super important. What is your passion? And this is enough. You may think it's too little or no one will want it. Trust me, if you're born the way you are and you like something, chances are on the planet of the Earth, 7 or 8 billion people, I don't even know now, some other people will like it too. And the internet is made so that people will find you. It's great for that, okay? So never be worried about being too niche or too weird. You will evolve, but it has to come from within. That's the most important thing. I've seen people do it the other way, and it never leads to greatness. You're not an expert. You're not teaching with passion, with your heart. It doesn't lead to anything, right? Now, there are 2 ways. If you're super famous, then you can make a course on the basics. And that's the Masterclass model. Let's take Gordon Ramsay to teach me about cooking. Well, great. He's famous. That's a very easy sell. And he will teach you how to chop a tomato. Great. You know? But like, that's just for these kind of people. The basics usually don't work. If you're not famous, which is probably the case of most of everyone here, make a course on a niche and specialized topic. And the riches are in the niches. It's that important. It seems counterintuitive, but you have no idea. I've seen people do make millions on like building like cars for their kids. You know, like you have like just toys, or if the topics are drones or like weird thing. Like honestly, like it doesn't have to be that big. It has to be highly relevant, and that's the most important thing. Okay. Now, common pushback. Maybe this is how you feel. No one wants to learn what I know. It's too niche. Right? That can be a feeling that emanates from within. Somehow, you learned it, right? And you're most likely not the only one. So you're there. And as I said, the internet is huge, right? Someone will need to know what you know. So if you like to build structure with matches, and that's your hobby, do a course on it. It's amazing. Actually, it's one of the best topics I think you'll find online, because it's so relevant that if someone finds a course on building things with matches and that they want it, they won't think twice. They'll be like, this is my man, this is my girl. You know, like I want to learn from that person. You know, if you go online and someone sells you a sweater, it's a sweater, right? But it's a sweater that's meant to embody yourself, like it's your height, it's meant for people who are tall, and it's the color you want with crazy visuals, and like it's a super highly specialized sweater. Most people won't want that sweater, but those who want it will want it like to death. That makes sense? The more specialized you are, the more it resonates with people. What I know is already taught online. Anyone think of this as well? Okay, cool. That means there's a demand for it. Amazing. You're not doing something for nothing. That's the number one thing. So it's a good news. And then who likes to listen to music here? I don't know who didn't raise their hands, but that's monstrous. But You know, like, how many musicians exist? How many painters exist? There's always space for a new musician, a new painter. You know, we have all the music already out there, yet someone else is making music. And yet we like that someone, and so that someone may become big, right? So it's not an excuse. Imagine if musicians were thinking like this, there'll be no more music in the world, right? So it's really just, hey, you will be your own course creator, your own content creator with your own voice. The same way every musician has a different voice, every band has a different sound, okay? And teaching, yeah, like teach something and then teach a detailed subject. And instead of a drawing course, like you're good at drawing, yeah, okay, cool, it's a drawing course, but it's very wide. How about thin pencil, black and white Pokemon drawing course? You understand the thought process? This is niche as hell. But if someone likes Pokemon and drawing, they will buy it in no time. You know what I mean? So maybe it's too details, but I think you get the idea, right? It's like niche and details. I will hammer this as many times as I need to, but hopefully you leave with that feeling and idea out of it, okay? And I'm not an expert on anything. That's a big one. So it's a self-worth issue. You're most certainly good at something. Are you the world famous, the world renowned expert? Like, probably not. But if you're a good teacher, this is enough, you know? This is more like spiritual, but like look within yourself. Like, why are you feeling this way? This can be painful, but this is necessary, right? So you don't need to be an expert, you just need to be a great teacher. I started teaching something called AWS a year after learning it. And trust me, I wasn't an expert on it. And what I was good at though, and I was still good at, is to look at what AWS is putting out, understand it, synthesize it, and teach it, right? To this date, I don't think I'm an expert on AWS. I think I'm a great guy at synthesizing information and explaining it to people. But in no way do I feel confident to taking a huge project on AWS alone, right? Like, because I don't have this hands-on experience. So again, you don't have to be the world-renowned expert, but the best teachers usually are not the experts. How many times you have a great technical person and you're like, his course sucks, you know? And then you have someone a bit less qualified, maybe like one of your peers, someone who's finished like his master's maybe a few years before you, not an expert, but has a feeling of teaching that's much more engaging than that teacher, right? So think about it this way. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be passionate and wanting to learn, of course. All right. So now we're back to this, right? This is so important because now we know what to teach. We found our customers, but now we need to teach something, right? And this is so important because, well, if you want to build an online course, the main takeaway, and I'm going to talk about it at length, but the main takeaway here is that you need to have taken online courses. And that seems so unnatural, but like the more online courses you take, the more you'll be good at creating online courses. It's a fact. You need inspiration. So how to make an online course? Research what a good course looks like. Take many courses on your topic, because most likely something already exists, and also outside of your topic. Sometimes you can find great teachers on just something you want to learn, and you're like, I like the way that person is doing his exercises, or teaching, or communicating, or filming himself, Take that with you, right? How do you find courses? Udemy, Instagram, YouTube, Masterclass, Skillshare, there are plenty. I'm sure everyone's been targeted by ads before. Go buy it, you know, go through the process. What works? What do you like about this course? What frustrates you in this course? Super important as well, because what you don't like is a good indicator of what you will want to do absolutely. So find what you like, but also find what frustrates you the most. That's super important. In that case, it's super important to find this inner frustration. What's the flow? Like, how is the curriculum designed? Do you like it? Is it practical? And then you make your style. And your style is going to evolve. My first course sucks, right? And I still have it out there. It's bad, but people loved it. Now my style has evolved and it's so much better, and it took me 4 or 5 years to get to where I am today, right? And I had like a 4.3 or 4.4 out of 5 rating on my first course. Then I've been working my way up to 4.6, 4.7. My list is 4.8. On an average, 4.8 is very difficult to get. You know, like bad reviews just impact you. So I don't think I can get higher than this, right? It was like the best course I've ever done in my life, and that was this year. But what I mean is that you start somewhere, and you're not tough on yourself, and you will learn. But by being practical and by doing it is how you improve, 100%. So, how do we start? Because, well, if you want to do that big course, then it's going to be daunting, especially if you've never done videos or content before, right? So the same way we started small on the online presence and social media, you want to start simple as well with your course. Can you make a course that's 1 hour long? It seems like it's short, but it's actually difficult to make in the first place, right? And then, can you just do a nice PowerPoint and a screencast, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, you know, and what I'm doing in all my courses actually. So this is one of my course. This is a slide, you know, and it's used the same template, by the way, I ever used. And this is me like on my web browser showing what I'm teaching. It's as simple. My face is nowhere to be seen, you know. No one knows what I look like. The question is, do you really need to film yourself? So yes, filming is amazing for your brand. People see you, people recognize you in the street, great. But in case you want to change things later, you have to dress up the same, you have to look the same, you have to be in the same light condition. It's more difficult. Me, I just need to have the same voice. And your voice changes over time, by the way, but you need to have the same voice. Also adds complexity to edit a video. And I personally think, you may disagree with me, that good audio is much better than good video of your face, right? Having perfect, if you're listening to something for an hour, or 2 hours, or 10 hours, or 30 hours, which is my longest course, if the audio is not good, you die. If there is like a slight, but video, who cares? You know, like you're there, okay? My in-between, personally, is that in the beginning of my courses, I introduce myself with a filmed intro. Hey, I'm Stephane, I'm going to teach you this, and that's it, and then I disappear, right? Some people like to do a bit more where they introduce themselves in each section to have that face-to-face thingy. But I like to focus on maintaining the attention of people by using your voice and the way you speak. That's a very difficult exercise, but it's necessary to do, and that has long payoff, okay? Cool. Which brings us to, how do we get simple? Well, we aim for minimal video editing, right? Is it really necessary to edit video? Because it's one more skill to have in your tool set. Like there's so much you have to do, and now video editing, right? So, number one, make the font big on your presentation. Then you don't have to edit your presentation. If you use a web browser, zoom in at least 150%, sometimes 300%, right? This is Wikipedia with no zoom. Imagine I do a video on this and I try to show something on Wikipedia. It sucks. They can be on their phone or on their computer. They're going to squint. They're going to get tired very quickly, right? Think about your students. What about this? 300%. You can read everything. This is gentle, right? So how do I not edit and zoom in my screen to show the specific part I want? Well, I just have my bigger fonts on my web browser, right? Simple trick, but it works. Remove your ads. Have an ads and cookie blocker. Okay, so that there's no spam on your screen or you need to edit things out. Use a password manager, so you don't type your passwords. Again, you don't have to cut, you know, like you typing a password or finding the password because, well, it's already inputted. Disable history and auto-completion. It can be sometimes, you know, you reveal a lot about your personal life. Or your phone number can appear, your address can appear. So remove this, and again, no need for editing. And make your PowerPoint slides animated, like today. And by animation, I mean just things appear over time. This is a stupid trick, but it keeps people's attention because they're not like reading the whole thing. And then, you know, like as I speak, I read, and as you read, you hear, okay? But again, I don't need to, like I'm recording this right now, this will have no editing because this is as is, this is the final product because it's already engaging and flowing well, okay? Show what's only necessary to be shown, prepare your content ahead of time, no scripting. I'm not reading a script. I took ages to prepare this. This is like a synthesis of everything I know. But I know the content so well that when I read what I have written, I know exactly what I want you to talk about. This is a skill that comes over time. Some people like to read their scripts when recording. I think it's robotic. I think it removes the spontaneity and a lot of substance of what you want to say and how you want to say it. So I would personally advise against, even though that feels easier. It's actually harder, okay? Instead, if you stop the video and restart again. You can restart from the middle, right? And this will happen, but don't script. Especially because when you script, you feel so self-judging because, well, if you don't say the word that you've written, you're like, oh, I missed, I failed, right? When it's not scripted, like every word you say is right, which is great when you write all the time. And then recording full screen. You don't see the date, the time, no notifications, do not disturb, put your phone on vibrator. Again, think about all these little things that can just annoy you and make you waste time and energy, okay? So, not going too fast, it's okay? All right, tech stack. So now you want to record, right? And again, a world of things you can do for recording. But here's what I would recommend. Choose a microphone, a Rode NT USB, or a Blue Yeti. Simple. And your computer. This is the Rode NT USB. I used it for 3 years. Let me tell you a story about this microphone. So I was cheap as hell. I was in Australia, I did my first course, and I went on eBay to find a microphone, and I spent like $20 or $30 on a microphone. I was sweating as I bought it, and I received it, and it was a crappy microphone. And I decided not to use it right away. Then I went and researched for microphones. I found this one. Of course, I was cheap, so I bought it secondhand. I went to the person's place, and I was like, is this working really well? Like, why are you selling it? Spent $120 then on this, and I came home, and I was like, this is such a mistake to have done this purchase. This right here is my highest ROI investment in my life. In my life. I will not give you the ROI, it's bigger than Bitcoin, okay? So don't be cheap like me. Buy yourself a nice microphone. This is $100 and something, euro, whatever, okay? It may seem like a lot. Personally, it was a lot for me back then, but this is the most important thing, and these two are more than enough to have a good audio, all right? If then you have more money and you're more advanced, I'm using a Shure SM7B with a Mix Pre 3 with a boom arm, and it looks like this, and it's a more professional setup, but honestly, it's just for me because I just feel the difference. My students don't hear it, okay? So you're fine with the first thing, okay? The only thing is that you may want to get a boom arm. This is the thing right here with this one, because then you hunch your back with this like Rode NT, and it's like not a good posture, so this may be easier to have something in front of your face. But that's it, okay? And the difference between the Rode NT and the Blue Yeti is that the Rode NT, you really have to have it here. I think it's a condenser microphone. You have to have it here. If you have it here, it's not worth it. In the Blue Yeti, you can have it further away from you. So if you record yourself filming yourself, it's better to have a microphone further away. If you don't care about filming yourself that much, you can have it here and it's just fine. Okay, just have something that blocks your face from a visual perspective, okay? Next. For screen recording, there's so much choice, okay? But I'm using ScreenFlow on Mac. This is what some people saw that I used to start the recording of this presentation, okay? You have Camtasia for Windows and OBS, which I think to me is too advanced, okay? That's the oldies, they work. It's been doing just fine. There is the newcomers, because we're in the AI world, right? We have Descript. We have Tela, Screen Studio, Loom, V.io. I won't go over all of these, but Descript is nice because if you do a video and you just do a straight recording and you want to delete a sentence, it will actually transcribe what you say, and then you can highlight the sentence and then delete it, and it will edit the video and just remove the sentence, just like that. So it's a words-based editing. You can also like change a word, Like you want to say something else, you just write it, and it uses AI to generate your voice, and then you just swipe your word. Yeah. So it's kind of nice. So it's a good one. And then also, like if you have shitty audio, it just improves your audio. It's nice. Personally, I haven't used it because I'm used to the old way. I'm an old elephant, but it's nice. Screen Studio, I think the cool thing about the other ones is that you can edit videos very easily. Like it knows how to highlight parts of your screen. I told you not to edit, so for me, I don't care. But again, if you want to make your life a bit easier, check out these things, okay? Don't worry, it's just a tool. Once you have a tool, choose it, move on, okay? Don't spend months evaluating tool because then you're missing the point of recording, okay? Find something you're just comfortable with. Recording and exporting in 4K is overkill. 1080p is fine, you know? It's too heavy 4K, it's too much, who cares, you know? Webcam, I love this one, Insta360 Link 2. Really great quality, enough for like even low light conditions. Focuses on your face automatically, can zoom in, it's amazing, okay? If you want to do a professional intro like I'm doing in my courses, like, hey, welcome, blah, 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 my name is Stephane, go to a studio, okay? Just go to a studio, make sure they have a microphone, just do the intro, move on, go home, right? You've done it, okay? But you're putting out there a professional product, make sure you have a professional video in the beginning, okay? There's been something called the Creator Studio. Check it out. Who cares? Like, honestly, I don't think AI is that helpful. Sure, maybe to prepare content, but like for tech, who cares? Monitors, super good trick, have two, right? One, to see what you're about to say. I know exactly what I'm about to say because I can see it on my screen. And the other one, to show what you're about to say. It sounds stupid, but you can have your notes on one screen and your computer on the other one, so you know what you're about to talk about in that video. It sounds so stupid, but like this is a very easy way to just know where you're going without scripting and making sure you don't miss anything while staying natural. So buy a second monitor. This is very cheap nowadays, okay? Rev.com, amazing for generating subtitles and captions. Although now I'm pretty sure AI can do it really well, but Rev is amazing. And then do yourself a favor, store everything on the cloud, on Google Drive or Dropbox, whatever, for your exports, your files. Because if I lose this laptop, it's annoying, but I buy a new one and I have everything as is. Really, I have everything on the cloud. I don't lose anything. So I've seen people banging their heads over losing their files. Always backup, okay? As I said, audio above everything else, okay? You will be listened for hours. You want to invest in great audio. So a great microphone, as we talked about, and then creating a no echo space. So to me, maybe I'm a purist, but this is the most annoying thing I found in videos when there's echo. You listen to a podcast and you think people are talking to them in their bathroom. You know, like, oh, how's it going? Like, I hate it, okay? I want to listen. If you look at like the top podcast, not validating, but like Joe Rogan, or like, they have great audio. It is more, even better than the radio. Even the radio is great audio, right? This is why people listen to the radio for ages. So if you have a shitty audio, people will lose it very, very quickly. So great audio, that means no echo. No echo, maybe I can help, but like, here's the good old ways to remove echo in a room. Couches, mattresses, carpets, duvets, acoustic foam, like this helps a lot as well. All these things, just pack up your room with stuff. Really, you have no, I wish I took photos, but like I used to have like blankets hanging behind me and I would put boxes of things. It helps so much to remove echo, right? At some point now I have a studio in my home that's well made, but anything you can do to decrease echo naturally is amazing. Another one, make sure you have no background noise. Of course, if you're on a noisy street, it's more difficult. If you're at home and someone's cooking next to you, it's more difficult, but like try to remove any kind of background noise. I'm sure there are tools to remove the background noise nowadays, especially in the newcomers. But again, I'm a fan of no editing. And also when you have background noise, like a dog barking in the back, you get mental about it. You're like, what if people hear it? You know, and this just distracts you from your zone of confidence and your zone of focus when you record a video. Okay? So this can help. If typing on a keyboard, use a silent keyboard. Sounds stupid, but horrible, right? Get a silent keyboard. And your phone on silent. Make sense? All right, I've talked enough about audio. Now let's talk about the promo video. So you've made your course, you've made your content, it sounds amazing, it has great content, it's to the point. Now you want to sell it, right? You have your community and so on. Things are not as easy. You need to make a promo video. Promo video is a sales video, but I don't like to sell. I like to be honest about what people are going to get, right? It's not like, and you will have the ability to fly. No. Still, get it done in a professional studio. Get it edited by professional video editor. These may be costly, but worth it, okay? And this is a sales copy of your course. This is the first impression you're going to make to your customers. So look in the camera. I've seen people make a promo video of like them talking of a PowerPoint. Hello, welcome to my course. In this course, we're going to see, like, no one wants to buy this, right? But even if you take 10 seconds on your phone, hey, I made this course. I think it's going to be super helpful for you. So we're going to learn this, this, and that. Enough, right? Doesn't need to be 2 minutes. But be honest, be genuine, and don't be afraid to look at someone in the eyes. Especially if it's your camera, there's no one behind it, right? But as humans, we like to see that connection. That's also why I think like AI courses probably won't be as big as just human-generated courses because we just like to learn from humans. That's part of our nature. Keep it genuine, honest, don't oversell. Respect your customers, okay? Talk about their goals and their achievements. Super important. And honestly, go watch mine. For this one, you can watch mine and see how I sell my things. You won't understand anything because it's like maybe technical or not, but you'll get the point of how I present myself and so on. There's guidelines on how to make a promo video right here as well. So again, this will be online, so you can always find inspiration. So that's a big one for me, but just curriculum design. So you want to make your course, right? Curriculum is your table of contents, okay? So this is to me the hardest part of making a course because finding the flow of things, even this presentation, you have no idea how much I reshifted things around, like what do I start with, how do I make things flow, It's how you tell a story, right? And if the story at some point has a weird turn, people will feel it and you will feel it too and you will lose attention. So keeping things flowy is important. So experiment and iterate, use like Word and just move things around until you're happy or Notion or whatever you want. Break down a complex into simple lessons. For me, one lesson is one takeaway. Don't go for more. If it's a lesson that lasts 1 minute and 30 seconds, this is a lesson. I have videos that are even shorter than this. But one lesson is one takeaway. And sometimes it may be 8 minutes for that one video. Okay, there's no rule of thumb. But one lesson, one takeaway. If people have more to learn, first of all, it's hard for them to come back to something and to find the information. And then their brain is overloaded. It's just a mental thing. Okay? Keep each video between 2 to 7 minutes, max 10. This is not the golden rule, but this is my rule, okay? Put down your notes in the curriculum of the notes. So like, honestly, like my curriculum as first like this, and then I develop and I write things, and then it's like a 100 pages document. Maybe not 100 pages, but like all my notes are there, and everything is put down. That's how I can move things easily. And then once everything is reorganized and lectures have a good flow, I remove what I think is too much, because you probably have too much in there, and it will feel heavy. You will feel heavy as well. And then you have your story from start to end, and then you can put it on PowerPoint or your slide or whatever you want, but only at the end, okay? Because when you know your flow, the rest is just transposing it and laying it out nicely, okay? If you start with the PowerPoint, you may get too bogged down on one slide specifically, be very unhappy about it, without knowing your entire flow and where you're going. So don't, even though this is very tempting, don't do it until the very, very end, okay? Remove the mental shifts. Yeah, story, if it doesn't lead anywhere, people won't finish your course. So now, how to keep students engaged? Okay, super important. Because we're in the world of teaching, not just selling, okay? The sell is what counts in your bank accounts, but to me, student happiness is the highest important factor. And a happy student is a student that will tell about your courses to other students. And to me, that's been the biggest factor of my success. It's just word of mouth, massive. So the first 10 minutes of your course are the most important, okay? And If in 10 minutes you don't deliver something, people will just drop you. This is a fact. Maybe you've seen some videos on YouTube or Instagram, like you have 10 seconds to judge someone. In a course, it's 10 minutes because someone put their money down, so they're going to spend a bit of time with you, right? But 10 minutes to prove something, if in 10 minutes you haven't done your proof, you're out. So because they're so important, these lectures, again, you record them last. You do your entire course, you know where this is going, and then when you're confident about what you've created, you introduce it. Maybe a lot of counterintuitive stuff, right? I always start with like the other thing, but it's the most important. So you make it really, 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 really good in the beginning. So my introduction today was like less than a minute. Hi, I'm Stephane. I didn't show you all my courses, and I didn't. Who cares, right? I mean, same for you. So don't talk too much about yourself. Hey, my name is John. My name is Joanna. Here is my course. Done. Move on. Okay. People already bought your course. They don't care about learning about you and your success story and your life. Who cares? And don't talk about what they learned. Oh, in this course, we're going to see section 1 this, section 2 this, section 3 this. Man, no, they don't care. They already bought your course. Again, just start it, you know. Tell what you want to tell. So instead, in that 10 minutes, make sure, 1, the course has started, and then something was learned and or practiced, right? Like, I'll tell you a trick, like, this is the most important. I teach like very complex topics like AWS. Some courses are mad long, as I said, 30 hours, right? And you may want to say, what is AWS? The introduction, no. And this is a fine start. But actually, first thing I do in my course, after briefly introducing myself and telling you about the course within 2-3 minutes, and I say, okay, open your web browser and let's subscribe on AWS website. Sounds stupid, right? But second video, they're doing something. And they haven't learned anything. They subscribe on the website. They don't even know what it does. But they've done something, and you have their attention, and they're, okay, hands on. They haven't been sitting back. Okay, it starts now, right? And then the more engaged you are, the more you can go back and say, okay, now let's take our time and take a step back. And I teach about AI, actually, in a course on AWS. And again, in that course, I had a very big challenge, right? It's like, what is AI? And how does generative AI come from all the other AIs? And you can talk about AI theory, and honestly, this lasts for an hour. But instead, I decided to do the opposite and sign up as fast as possible on the website, go on the website and enter a prompt and see a reply, just to get people going with like the feeling they've done AI, hook them up for an hour on this, and then when they're like, okay, cool, I understand what this does, now say, okay, how does it do it, right? In most scholar curriculum, people like to start with theory, introducing a topic, and then an hour later, this is how we've been educated, right? And then an hour later, like, let's get to the practice. But actually, online, I think it's better to start with the practice, even if it's not fully explained yet, but at least people are engaged, and then you explain the theory behind it. Make sense? Again, counterintuitive, but because you're online, you have to. Yep. So, make your course practical. That means exercises, follow along, quizzes, labs. You create a community for people to interact with you, okay? So not just the course, but they have a WhatsApp group, a Facebook group, to talk with you. At first, engage people with your voice, and you're gonna get better over time. You're yourself, don't overuse jokes, don't like try to be funny. Like, these are tricks to try to keep people engaged, but actually they're diverting from the bigger problem, which is like, how do you keep yourself, people engaged? Avoid the filler noise, and this is something that comes with time, but it's mostly a function of how prepared you are on your video. If you don't know your content well, because you're doubting and you're thinking. If you know it well, it should go like this, as simple as that, right? So, frequently asked questions. How long to make a course for 1 hour of video? I get this question all the time. It depends on your experience. It depends how fast you work. It depends on how much preparation you're going to do. Personally, just to give you a figure, it's about 10 hours of work for 1 hour of produced video, okay? That includes research, curriculum design, presentation design, and then the recording itself, you have a factor of 2 or 3. Because to make 10 minutes, maybe you'll need 20, 30 minutes of just re-saying it or whatever. It's my thing. It can be longer, it can be less. Depends how confident you are in the camera, how well prepared, but this is my general rule of thumb, okay? Don't let this scare you. This is 100 hours. 100 hours is 2.5 weeks of full-time work, you know, in Europe. Can I script my videos? As I said, sure, but you will sound robotic and unnatural. And I suggest instead that you know your content really well in the back of your hand, and then you just keep on talking about it, okay? So now we have made our course, it's out there, but what do I publish on, right? The medium of where you publish on. So there's 2 routes you can go, and this is what I'm going to talk about now. More detailed, because I know this is down the line, but important. Marketplaces. Marketplaces is like Udemy or Skillshare, or sometimes a publisher model where someone finds you and wants you to make a course on their platform, such as Pluralsight or LinkedIn Learning. Used to be called Lynda. So the marketing in that case is done partly by the platform. So you put your course out there. There's usually a big search engine. People find your course, and then this is how you get discovered, right? So you leverage the platform to have an audience. They take a fee per student. This is natural because the platform is bringing the students to you. And I'll talk about this fee in a minute, okay? And the qualification, the legal qualification of your revenue usually is a royalty. If you're a musician and you give your rights to a label, the label publishes your songs, you get a royalty. If you're a book author, you have it through, a publisher, you get a royalty. Same for the online courses. You give your rights, your copyright to someone else, they sell the course for you, they compute at the end of the month how much they owe you, this is your royalty. This can be important for tax reasons. Or the opposite is to do self-hosted on your own website, right? And this is where we have like a SaaS, a software as a service, backing platform, such as like Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, there's tons, but I like these 3. That is going to allow you to get a UI, to host your course, to get your own URL, and off you go, okay? I think yours was Teachable, no? Yeah, Melissa, who is like a massive teacher as well in this space. So yeah, then when you have one of these platforms, your website, the marketing is entirely yours. Entirely yours. This is why, going back to the very first slides, building your community is important, okay? So you may want to invest in your community. In SEO, that means mostly creating great content in written and video form and putting it out there. There's no need to optimize the SEO per se. It's like if your content is great, engines will know about it because people will read it and spend time on it, and you're good to go, okay? So don't think too much about optimization. And then ads. So Google, Facebook, Instagram, sometimes calls as well when you want to sell a course to one person at a time. You're going to keep all your dollar per sell, of course, minus the platform fee, but it's usually like because you pay a monthly fee, they're happy. And there's like maybe a credit card processing fee that they take. Who cares? And your revenue this time is business income. You are responsible for your own revenue from a tax perspective, okay? Beautiful thing is that you can always republish your course and see what happens. So make it for Udemy, make it for your platform, see what happens. You know, see what you like. Now, where should you be? So Udemy versus Teachable. So first of all, it's about control. How much of the control of the marketing do you want? Is it a niche topic? What is the target audience size? How much competition exists on a marketplace? Okay, if you make a Python course, there's already Excel course, there's already like hundreds of Excel courses. Most likely, you won't win, all right? Most likely. On Udemy, the winner takes almost all, okay? I'm the top AWS guy, but I did not start with AWS. I started with another topic, got big, like got 30,000 students or so, and then with these students, I decided to take on a bigger topic, which was AWS. So, and then now there's almost no competition for me there because winner takes almost everything. Pricing strategy. We'll talk about pricing in a second, but there's low ticket versus high tickets. What is your sales strategy? Do you want a funnel, a sales call? Do you have a limited registration window? Type of technique. This guy, Brian Dean, does it or did it. Very important. And scale. So sometimes I get the question like, why are you on Udemy and not your own platform? And I'll answer this. So I've tried my own platform. I was on Teachable, and actually I realized that like my course on Teachable was the exact same as my course on Udemy. It didn't have any like meaningful difference of what I could offer. And I realized that like it was a hard sell for students. On top of this, the scale that Udemy provides me, 3 million people, is I could never match this on my own, with my own money, like with my own thing. I'm an exception to the rule, okay? But like I get a big audience there and a potential 10 times bigger audience if Udemy grows. So that's why I'm there. But this is a very unique situation. If you sell a course about making structures and matches, maybe your Udemy audience excuse me, isn't going to be that big. So you may want to be on your own platform. Okay? Make sense? All right. So Udemy has marketing agreements, which is a big fat checkbox when you arrive on the website. And if you don't enroll in this, then Udemy is not for you. You have to mostly enroll in the marketing agreements, because once you do so, Udemy is going to set a list price for your course. It's an algorithm. You don't have control over what is the list price, which is the price the course is listed at on the website. People don't know this. Then they're going to run discounts every now and then, and by every now and then, I mean all the time. So, but legally every now and then. So that means that your students effectively are going to pay on average between $10 to $15 for your course. It's just how Udemy works. It's what people are used to. Maybe in the future it will change, but this is the range, okay? Then you have deductions on Udemy. So the taxes, someone is buying a course, there is taxes, for example, VAT, GST. Then you have, if a course was sold on Apple Store or Google Play Store, there's also the fee of these stores, about 30%. If you bring the students with your own link, if you do your own marketing and you bring your own students, you get 97% of the sale, okay? But if Udemy brings the student for you, you get only 37% of the sale. 63% is for Udemy. You said shit, it's interesting. You know how much a book author makes in royalties on his book? In percentage? 8%. The good ones make 15%. 10%, 8%. So like this is quite high actually, you know? It seems like it's low, but this is quite high. Remember, where does the 63% go? They may run ads to bring the student to a platform. Ads are costly. They are investing into marketing, right? That's their cost, not yours. You don't see it ever, right? You just get your 37%. So here's an example. I'm not sure what currency it is, but like my net amount minus the Google store fee was $17. My revenue share was 37%. It was $6.49 for this one course I sold. This one course, 4.65% dollars. So it's not big numbers, right? But because you're on a marketplace and the marketplace is huge, they can sum up nicely. And you get a scaling, like a nice snowball effect where things get bigger because the more students you have, the more proof you have of your course. The more proof you have of your course, the more people feel trusting into it, and then it just rolls and rolls and rolls into something bigger, right? So it's not about the individual amount, it's about the aggregate amount, okay? Your course is your copyright on Udemy, so you can remove it anywhere, anytime you want. And you can also post it elsewhere unless you're on Udemy Business. So this is the B2C side. You go on udemy.com, you have the search bar, you type your course. This is what I'm talking about, right? Then there is UB. UB is Udemy Business. This is the B2B side of Udemy. Okay, when Udemy goes to a corporate customer and they say, well, you have 1,000 employees, we're going to enroll them all, and then they have access to the best courses we have on the platform, right? Then they sell a subscription to that business. In that case, your course to be on UB must have high ratings, about 4.5 out of 5 average rating, and a minimum of 25 ratings to be qualifying on UB. They don't want bad courses there. And it needs to be a business relevant topics. If you teach people how to chop a tomato, it's not going to be on Udemy Business, okay? Employees will enroll for free in your courses. You will not receive anything for it. And instead, you're going to be paid based on a consumption model. The more minutes watched, the more you're going to earn. So if your course is not engaging, you're not going to earn much. This is why it's so important to engage people. So then Udemy keeps 80% of B2B revenue and you 20%. And it's going to decrease in 2026 to 15%. It's low, I have to say, but it may be worth it. So this is about 2 cents per minute of content watched. But it can sum up. This guy, Frank Kane, which is also on Udemy, had 50 million minutes learned in 2024. Like this is from last year, okay? So it just gives you an idea of like the scale these things can have. Not all these minutes are UB minutes, but like a topic at scale can bring in a significant amount of money. You can do the math on your own. So it can be juicy. It is for me. For me, it's about 60% of my income comes from UB. If you're on UB, Udemy has the exclusivity over your content. I cannot post anywhere else except my own platform. So the reason they do so is that Udemy can come to the customers and say, our portfolio of courses is unique to our platform. And therefore, they have a strong argument. If my course was posted on 2 different platforms, then they have the same courses. So how do they fight about making the sale? By putting the prices down, right? And that doesn't serve me at all, right? So having exclusivity is a good thing. Although once you have exclusivity, you can leave, but with 1 year notice, because they have engagements with the corporate customers who don't want to have the next day a course gone on their platform, okay? So now self-hosting. So this is the Udemy side, and I was very long about it, but like people who want to learn how Udemy works, so this is how Udemy works. And then you have self-hosting. So I talk about Kajabi and Teachable. So they have like the classic tiers of what you want to buy, like Kickstarter, Basic, Growth, Pro, blah, blah, blah. And each tier gives you different features. It's up to you to see what you need and what you want. But the idea is that you pay a monthly fee, and then you have a transaction fee sometimes. If you pay a low fee, this is how they make money. Then you pay like a low fixed fee and you pay a transaction fee. Find your tier and so on. But from here, when you self-host your courses, here comes the fun part. You're going to sell something to people from all around the world, and you're going to have to deduct taxes. Some platforms do it for you, some platforms don't do it for you. It's a headache. Then you have your marketing costs. You need to run your own ads, paid partnerships, affiliate networks. Some platforms help you with this, but again, how do you bring people to your website? Of course, your community, as we said before, your Instagram, social media can lead people to you, okay? But still, you need to also invest into these paid avenues. You have more control over your pricing because, well, this is your own platform. A marketplace can shut me down. If Udemy shuts me down tomorrow, I have no recourse about it, right? This is you're in control of this, unless you put like content that's like abusive on these platforms. But then, because you invest into ads and you need to look at your margins now because you have a cost and you have revenue. You need to invest money into ads, do these ads function. Sometimes you lose money, okay? Even though you keep all your revenue dollar, you actually give some of it to Google or Facebook or Meta, yeah. So when you do have your own platform, though, you have control over the price. And in the online realm of online courses, you have several pricing range that I'm going to define right now. These are not defined, but just to give you an idea. So a low ticket course is about less than $100. Here you have content, you have ads sometimes, and it leads to a page that has already a big discount. Oh, look at this course, so much value. You're getting it only for $130, but it's actually $600. Usually you have like a 30 days, no question asked, money back guarantee. That's important. And it works great for like view on demand, pre-recorded courses. Like they buy it and then they can view it in their own time. This is a very fine way to work, okay? A very low touch. You need to make sure that you have a good sales copy, you have a good flow, but it works. Then you have a high ticket course. We're talking about like over $500. Here, usually people need to be warmer to buy higher value, like a higher price content, right? And so you will find these websites. There's like, learn our free guide to running a workshop online. Enter your email here and you'll receive it by email. Everyone's seen this before, right? So you enter your email and then you're going to get an email chain of actually relevant and educative content in which you're going to get comfortable with the fact the website is giving you valuable information. And then usually after the 4th or 5th email, you have a sales email, okay? Another strategy is to have ads and then you ask people to register for a webinar. And it could be live or sometimes pre-recorded. I've seen this. And then, here is my one-time offer. You have 1 day to buy my course, and here is the temporary sales page, and you can buy it. Also a fine strategy. Sometimes you have a pre-qualifying sales call. Like, are you the right one for my course? Like, do you want to learn more about my course? Like, you can't buy it unless you have a call with me. And then people have like sales team that will close you. All these things are not bad, okay? It's just sales strategy. But if you're selling something that has value, it's completely fine, okay? If you're just trying to scam people, then obviously this is not, right? But there's a lot of human psychology that enters in these moments, of course. Then you have the scarcity strategy. So you have a limited window to enroll in the course, like only once per month or once per quarter or once per year, right? And this is fine as well. You have a big spikes of sale and nothing, but to build scarcity really works as well. And also you can run limited spots on the course. If you have like a semi-live course, say we only have 20 spots and only 3 are left, and you have to be hopefully real about it, this works as well to get people to buy it, okay? So what should be my price? Well, your revenue is your price times how much you sell, okay? You see I make sometimes $4, $5, sometimes I make $1 per course sell. It doesn't really matter as much as the volume of course sold makes a great quantity, right? You may have a $2,000 course if you sell once a month, which is great, it's $2,000. But if you have a $100 course and you sell it 30 times a month, you're already making more. So again, it's about finding your balance and what overall makes you the most amount of revenue, okay? So whatever you're comfortable with, of course, don't overcharge, don't have a higher price than what is necessary. And then, of course, find what your students are willing to pay. I've seen people evolve their prices from $100 to $1,300 by sometimes adding more stuff, but sometimes just repackaging the sales copy and so on. Also, there's this super weird psychological thing that happens. When you see something that's like a lower price, you think it's shit. And when you see something that's like $2,000, you think it's amazing. And you may want to purchase more the higher price thing. That happens. Again, finding your own price is important. Then there's on-demand and cohort-based courses. So do you know cohort-based courses? Does it mean anything? It's like live. So on-demand is usually relatively low price. I cannot sell my courses for $2,000 because it's just someone playing videos online. Okay, they're used to it being almost free on YouTube. But low price, usually you have a lower student engagement, a lower completion rate. People buy for watch a video 2, forget, life goes on, you know. Usually it's like a buy for life, like you buy for life and you can watch it whenever you want, which is not great for engagement. Like sure, whenever you want in your life. Usually never happens. But low maintenance and has great scale. Cohort-based courses is higher price. So you're having a live component, you're giving your presence to the people so they buy your presence. You have a group of students. The course may run over a course of several weeks because you have a group of students. Usually you connect them together, and so there is a higher chance of completion, a higher chance of help between each other, and higher sense of motivation, right? Super important. And then you can have different sessions. You can have the course itself. Sometimes the course itself can be pre-recorded, but Q&A, live Q&A sessions, workshops in groups, homework, and a sense of like a start and an end, which is very helpful for some people like me, who are like, hey, here's the goal, and in 3 months I'll have it done, and I'll have it done in 3 months. But if you give me a lifetime to do it, I'll never do it, okay? But harder to scale. Not impossible, but harder to scale. Because you need to hire people, teacher assistants, you can give a live session to 100 people, but the Q&A won't have many participants, and people may feel left out. So this is where the scale becomes limited, right? And you can be hybrid. So watch alone some videos and some live sessions. Find your balance, okay? Doing things that don't scale is completely fine, by the way. Especially in the beginning. So like from cohort-based courses, you may have a limited scale of say 10,000 per month, which is already a great amount, but 10,000 per month, that's fine, like get there. And then you'll see how you evolve your offering, okay? Don't be afraid of spending an hour on the phone with your first students. They're getting way more for what they pay for, but you're going to learn from them, and you're going to learn what works, and you're going to get so much information out of it that then you'll get better, okay? Do things that don't scale in the beginning. So on Udemy, if you were to start on Udemy, research a topic, use something called the Marketplace Insights, which gives you like the demand, and this can be also for any topic you want. This tells you like, oh, it's a great opportunity. There's high student demand, low number of courses, and you can make about 400 per month with this, they estimate. So like this gives you like ideas of like stuff to see. You can see the search trend of over time and so on. There's UB content opportunities, which is a list that Udemy gives from their business customers. Say, hey, we were looking for a course about this one specific topic. can you build it? So you can see, like, you know there's a demand for it. Look at the competition, take the courses, and then look at the ratings. So you're rated on Udemy. People like leave a note at some point in the course. And then see how many courses there are and how well rated or not they are. And if there's low ratings, then there's an opportunity for you to arrive, because Udemy algorithm functions in a way that like they will most likely sell or try to sell the course that has the highest rating, because it usually leads to the highest student satisfaction, and high student satisfaction for them means more sales down the road. Okay, simple. Which makes the marketplace extremely competitive and extremely high quality, by the way. And it's super important. A topic may be juicy, like Excel is super juicy, like the top earner makes 80,000 per month, but it doesn't mean that you will make 80,000 per month, okay? So where people make the most money is not as relevant as where you will make your most amount of money, okay? Basics versus niche, okay. The second one, I'm sure no one's seen it, but the first one, everyone has. I can tell you I'll make more money with the second one than the first one, okay? So once published, the course, nothing is magic. You must bootstrap your course visibility. So these are courses on personal finance. Chris Harron has 11,000 ratings. He has 17 hours and 4.6, then we have 4.6 and so on. And another 10,000 ratings at the bottom. So this is very difficult to get in there and to have, imagine your course and your face, and like 3 reviews and 4 or 5 ratings, like it'll look weird on the website, right? So you can get there with a massive audience, but like you need to bootstrap your course. That means you need to make your own marketing, hence the importance of having that community in the very first place, going back to the beginning. Then you engage with your students, they're gonna get you good ratings, and then the machine starts running for you, okay? But Udemy is not magical. So you encourage reviews and be aware of pricing, as people publishing on Udemy and then making $2 and they're like, what the hell is this? So be aware of pricing, as I said before. So if I were to start over on Udemy with 0 online following, so remove everything I have, I will find a very niche topic, small with very few courses, and I will make a course, a short course on that niche. If I get a few students, 10, 20, I'm onto something, right? Because there's low demand, so low number of courses, people will find me because there's not that much choice, right? So they will find me. Then I will make 10 courses on that topic. Because if someone bought a course on this one topic, they don't want to learn something else. They want to learn this deeper. So I will make more and more and more and more and more courses, because I will have already a base to sell to, okay? Sometimes you're like, oh, I'll do painting and then I will do drawing. Yes, they are related, but actually you can paint with different colors, black and white. You can paint with different brushes. You can paint with different types of paints. And actually, the painting topic is so huge. You can paint in the style of Rembrandt. And so you can paint in so many, stay on that niche and fill it well. Make people feel like they can still learn from you on the very same topic. Then you'll have a big community. And from that big community, you have marketing power. So once I've made 10 painting courses, now I can be like, hey guys, actually, do you want to learn how to draw? And then you go into drawing, right? Because that big audience is going to now transfer over, trust you, and say, wow, actually, I'd love to draw as well. And then in the drawing, you're going to get back to the top. And then, as you guessed, more and more courses, and then you repeat. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. We're almost done, huh? But thanks for your attention. So now it's all about challenges, right? This is not just like a sit and relax type of presentation. It's about you taking the first step to getting there. And this is valid not just for online courses, but for coaching or whatever you're trying to sell. It's about yourself, right? So can you start posting on social media once a week? It doesn't have to be your personal account. Sometimes you may feel very, and this is fine, very scrutinized by your friends and self-conscious, right? Create a new account. The social media is amazing. People will find you, but post once a week. And then can you start making a 5-minute video of you teaching whatever you want? It doesn't have to be your final topic. It just has to be something. Hey, let me teach you how to tie your laces on a shoe. Really, do it. Like get people, try to make a video on this, you know, different techniques. This is highly instructive because you're going to get into the teacher mode. How do I speak? How do I lay out my video? You know, how do I present myself? Super important. This is not a course. This is just you getting that practice right now. Super important. Can you start producing? So planning can take a lifetime. Oh, I want, you know, we've been there. But delivering, producing is what gets you there, okay? So I like to go ahead and first, and then you think after. The one best people I've seen work online is the ones who never ask permissions, never ask for too much guidance, never ask, is it okay? What do you think? No. They just went for it. So the best entrepreneurs, the best content creators, all the success stories I hear start with this, okay? So sure, you can go into like a boot camp of how to start your online course, and that may be helpful to getting structure. But actually, you have enough now to get started, okay? Actually, go into that boot camp if you feel stuck at some point in your journey, right? Because then you have something to unblock versus something to kickstart you. I hope this is enough of a Kickstarter, by the way. But yeah, and then I wish for you great success. Great success. So give 1% back if you can. If you make 100K, give 1,000. If you make 1 million, donate 10,000 euros. Giving back is important. Mentoring people. This is the first time doing this for me, like to tell people how to build online courses, because it's not what I sell and it's not how I'm branded. But I wanted to give back and just help people with my knowledge. This is free. I don't sell anything at the end. You know, I don't ask for anything at the end. Actually, you can just donate to the Lisbon project. That would be nice if you can. But yeah, mentoring people feels great, you know, and then give forward. So educate the next educator, like I'm doing. Maybe in 5 years from now, you'll be the one in my spot, you know. Super important. This is not a scamming business. Respect your students, your customers. Good karma is going to give you good results, and they compound over time. Super, super important. And yeah, I wish you honestly the best of luck. But like you've taken a big step by being here, so thank you. Now, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Okay, this one I'm gonna get yours. Yes, go ahead.
So, first of all, we can sell courses on Udemy, but we also can sell on the personal website. We cannot, for example, sell on other platform, but if I build my personal website and sell there, I can also sell on Udemy.
You can sell, the question is, can you sell everywhere? You can sell everywhere on Udemy, other platforms, your platform, someone else's platforms, as long as you're not exclusive. But when you get onto Udemy Business, if you get onto Udemy Business, then you're on the boat for that one course. You're on their boat, okay? You can opt out of Udemy Business. I personally think it'd be a mistake because Udemy Business can be amazing. But it's up to you. But when you get there, it's a different kind of problem to have.
Once you're in Udemy, you don't need constantly selling to your audience online.
So once you're on Udemy, you don't need to constantly sell, but you need to heavily bootstrap it to get the initial kick of students and reviews, right? That's super important. Nothing, at some point, after a while, it sells on its own, right? Because Udemy figures out, the algorithm is like, actually people bought it, people liked it, people engaged in it, they look at all the metrics. And me, when I make a new course on Udemy, I blast an email out to all my Udemy students and they get a notification and the ball gets started.
Personal, like under GDPR and everything, you get their personal information.
No, so a student on Udemy is not your student. You don't have their emails, you have their names, you can send them messages on the platform, but you cannot get them out of the platform, and it's forbidden to force them to be out of the platform, to give them, for example, it's forbidden to collect emails on Udemy, to force someone, hey, if you want to download the course content, give me your email. But you're more than welcome to tell people, hey, I have a newsletter, would you like to subscribe? But you can't force them, okay? So there's a gray area here. But the idea is that if you go on Udemy course and you get spam from all these people and they have your email, then it sucks, right? So Udemy students as Udemy. I'm going to get his questions and you can ask some more.
One more.
Well, one more, all right, go ahead.
Okay, personal opinion. Sharing personal stuff on LinkedIn to build connection to the audience, yes or no?
100%.
Yeah?
100%. 100%. LinkedIn, I hate the inspiring, like I ate an apple yesterday and look at this amazing insight I had, which somewhat works. But honestly, getting personal on LinkedIn is completely fine. Don't make it a personal page. as in always posting about this, but like I take selfies sometimes with my students, say, hey, I've met this student, so cool, like, here's John, you know, like, I'm getting over, I don't know why I'm saying always John, but here's John, and this is fine, okay? But don't make it, you'll have haters. Oh, this is a professional network, like, what are you posting? Of course, don't post yourself at the beach having the best time with a cocktail, right? You know, but get personal, make people feel you, okay? They're getting close to you. Yes, this question here, and then I'll get to you.
Yeah, so if a lot of people post content on YouTube and they're pretty much teaching everything, I get there's the idea of community, but you're saying give it all out and stop holding back from sharing, but it's like it's all there on someone else's YouTube page.
Are you talking about competitors or your page?
Yeah, just competitive.
Okay, competition is fine. The question is if it's on YouTube, something already exists on YouTube, why would people buy it on my own platform, and why would I? Honestly, there's space for everyone. There's free music, there is paid music, there is free courses. On what I teach, there are free courses. And then, again, mindset. If people pay for it, they think it's high quality. Simple as that, right? Like if YouTube, usually you'll have like 1 hour long video max, and that's the extent of it. The 10-hour long course rarely is on YouTube. You know what I mean? It can be, but rarely is. People on YouTube, it is completely fine to also post your own videos. YouTube has a great algorithm for newcomers. They value freshness. Sometimes on my YouTube feed, I get videos of like 100 views. So like they're testing like TikTok style, like bootstrapping some videos. So getting discovered on YouTube, even though something is already taught, works. And again, if people feel that you have a paid product in their mindset, they think it's more polished. YouTube is like, sit back and relax. And there's a playlist, but it's difficult to follow. There's no sense of completion. You know, but on a course, you can have quizzes and interactive forums and degree and all these things that make people believe and mentally think that they're learning more and getting more engaged. So don't get hold up by this. There is everything on YouTube, but honestly, it doesn't mean that you can't sell your own content. Good question though.
So I post on social media once a week.
Nice.
I started off very ambitious, like 5 times a week, and then I was like, okay, this is exhausting, and then I went to like 4 times and 3 times. I was like, I just had to, come up with something that was practical for me. But I'm wondering, is 1 time a week enough to really build the brand and the community that I need, or like is it 2? Is it like, is there kind of a sweet spot there?
The question is, how often should I post, and when do I know it's fine? Listen, if you post once a week and you're happy with the results you're getting, sure. You know, if you're happy about the quality of the followers you're getting, sure. Sometimes, like, imagine a newsletter, right? Some are daily newsletters, and some are like thought-provoking newsletters that are well-written and well-researched, and they come out once a month, right? These newsletters may have more subscribers than the one that sends stuff daily, right? It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality and the engagement and how someone learns from it, right? So of course, the more you post, the more discoverable you are. But actually, these social media platforms, if every time you post, it's a hit, they're going to prioritize your content whenever you post. So make sure that this one post, if you do only one a week, is really well thought out and really instructive and really impactful, which is difficult to judge in the beginning, but make sure it is, okay? But in the beginning, when you are launching something, once a week is to get you into the vibe, into the mindset. But then I would advise to post a bit more until you find your voice. And when you found your voice, you can scale down a little bit. Okay? You had the question, right? Yeah.
For sure. I suppose, you mentioned in a sense, it's kind of a long game. And so how do you keep the motivation going? Because I'm sure, as you mentioned earlier, there's some courses where if you start posting, you may lose money.
Yeah. How do you keep the motivation going? Honestly, there's 2 parts, right? Number 1 is ego. There's a fact about getting more likes and more followers. That's something that gets people going over time. It's just human nature. Let's not lie about it. The other one is money. If you start seeing some money coming in, your brain is going to go crazy. My first dollar was like, and then it's just, you want more and more and more and more. It doesn't mean you're going to get the results you expect necessarily quickly, but it's a good motivation. If you're unmotivated about something after a year, maybe it's not the right thing to teach, or maybe you're not passionate enough about teaching it as well. It's also time to just do a little introspection, like, why am I not motivated? Sometimes you just can't force it. If it's not coming out of you, it's not, right? But usually, motivations will come from external factors, and especially validation that what you're doing is liked. People are nice online. Honestly, there's some idiots, but like people are nice online. And you will get messages like, oh, I really like your video, or it changed my life, or this was so helpful, thank you so much. Like, people are nice. Like, not everyone does it, but it feels good. I have many, many heartwarming messages, and these can help as well. Yes? Ah, hi.
I have two questions. They both speak to the same relevant point.
Yes.
The first question is regarding community. So there's a lot that is, being taught and shared, and all these masterminds about how to best develop your community. Would you say that it's really case dependent? It's dependent on where your audience is sitting. Like, for example, if I'm posting once a week on Instagram and somebody is fainting every time they read, or once a day, and they're like, you moved my life, but it doesn't convert, perhaps Instagram is not the right platform. Do you have any recommendations about how to troubleshoot around that, or did you just wing it and go for it? And
Yeah.
I'm going for YouTube.
Listen, the question is, how do you find the right content for the right platform? How do you know it's working if customers are not converting? Not converting is, first of all, you need scale, right? Like, not every person that follows you is going to be a buyer. There's like a funnel, right? Of course. There's a bit of intuition. For example, from my personal brand, I'll tell you exactly how I do it, right? On LinkedIn, I share professional updates, mostly, which is like, hey, I'm building a new course, or hey, I'm about to teach about this topic, or hey, I crossed a milestone in the number of students on Udemy I have, or hey, here's this news that everyone should be aware of from AWS. This is pretty much what goes on in LinkedIn for me, right? And LinkedIn is the biggest driver of my sales, right, when externally. YouTube is actually extracts from my courses, in videos of my courses that I just put as is on YouTube that people can consume. Not all of my courses there, but a part of it is there. People just come across because they look for something very specific, maybe on Google search or on YouTube search, and like, oh, I like this guy, and I tell like, here's the full link to the course, and it brings back people. I don't do any film stuff on YouTube, actually. Like, and then Instagram, my Instagram is my choice. I didn't choose to do like shorts or reels or like educative content about AWS or what I'm teaching. Actually, it's just, hey, here's my life. And actually, if you want to have coffee with me, and I used to travel the world a lot and get coffee with students, I'd say like, hey, I'm in South Africa, who wants to meet me? And I get like a few replies, and I'd meet a student for coffee, and I'd post it online. So it'd be like a blog. So I don't use Instagram for selling, although my community is so engaged there that when I do have a course out, it does help a lot to build hype. So it's about finding your voice really on these platforms and experimenting. But when you know it's working, you'll feel it. Okay? Second question.
Sorry, yes. My second question was, when you started out, did you start out, now of course retrospectively, it's quite a bit easier to say, pick your niche, pick this one, it's very easy. I've been a coach for 6 years, and I started over here and evolved based on feedback from students. How was it for you once, because if you start over here and you create a community, but actually this is where your expertise is, did you ever have to pivot? And if you did, how did you do it? And did you bring that community along or start?
Yeah, I pivoted a few times. The first course I did was something called Ni-Fi. There was 0 courses on Udemy there. So if someone typed Ni-Fi on Udemy, there was one choice, it was mine. That's as niche as it gets. It works. And then I was like, okay, people like what I'm teaching, so I pivoted to Kafka, something called Kafka. And there were 10 courses on Kafka, but really badly rated. I made a course on Kafka. It was like highly rated. Udemy boosted it, and I made 10 courses on Kafka, as I said on this slide. I made 10 courses on Kafka. At some point, I ran out of things to say on Kafka and Ni-Fi, right? But my students are tech people, right? And a good chunk of them want to learn about other tech things from me, and they trust me. And so I talked about AWS because it's relevant to them. So I moved them over to a bigger topic, and now I teach solely about AWS. My Kafka courses are a bit out of date. and my 958 course is a relic of the past. But yes, like I have pivoted, but I never strategized what's my end game. It was more like, as I'm doing it, how do I feel and what do I want to do next, right? Like it wasn't a 5-year master plan. I did not have a 5-year master plan. And actually, when I posted a video on Udemy, I did not have a plan at all. I was like, I had some time at night. My girlfriend was away, and I was like, I have some time at night. I'm just gonna make a video. And then I was like, ooh, this is making money. Great. And that's how I started, right? Never strategizing too much. But nowadays, I do think that you can do intuitive and see if it works, but strategizing a little bit about building the community, building the content, building the hype, how you're building it, does save you a lot of hassle and time, for sure. I'll take 2 more questions so that everyone's time is fine. Yes?
Hi, thank you very much, Stephane, for presentation. A lot of useful stuff. I watched your videos during pandemic. Some of them, they're great. 2 questions, quick. First, you said it's much more difficult now to start a Udemy than before.
Yes.
Much more competition.
Yes.
Still possible? Does it still work?
Still possible. Still possible. I would not start with AWS. But I think there's tons of technical topics that are great. Like when I read the news in the tech world, so if you have like DeepMind and like all these new things that pop out and all these projects, if it's in the news, you could make a course on it. And you probably would be one of the first ones to make a course on it. You're highly dependent on the success of the technology, but sometimes the technology can be successful because of your course. So like there can be a very nice virtuous circle as well. But like I would look for like what is the freshest, most in-demand topic. Of course, you wouldn't be the only one to think like this, but it would work, right? But if you're teaching about an old topic, you better be a goddamn expert on it to foster growth in community, right?
Okay, great, thanks. So
Yeah.
Second question, what if you are not a teacher by nature? I tried to create a course. I'm not good at teaching.
Says who?
It didn't work.
Says who?
Sorry?
Says who you're not good at teaching? Says who? Who says that?
I don't feel like teaching. I'm not like, I don't have passion teaching, you know? So then maybe I shouldn't do courses, right?
Yeah. but you can still create content, create articles. At some point, you may create a product. It doesn't have to be a course or you teaching. It can be a product that's highly relevant for the people who are trying to solve a problem. You know, like you can still build something. But my challenge to you is like, I'm not good at teaching or I don't have a passion. It's different. Like, do you say you don't have a passion because you don't feel you're good at it? Or because you just don't have experience? Like, teaching comes over time, but you have to practice, you have to get better, you have to improve, send the videos to your friends. Do you like it? Do you not like it? No, you iterate. The best YouTubers that were not as good as they are today when they started. They just did it and then they got better. My speech, I had like speech coach, a voice coach to speak better. I looked at my first course was crap. Like, was I a good teacher? And then no, right? But I learned the same way you have to learn any type of job, right? So try to make the difference between these two things. That could be interesting for you to do. One last question, and then if there's one last.
I'll ask it.
Yes, okay.
Unless someone else has a question, because
Maybe after you. Okay, sure.
Ah, hi.
There you go. But you have to accept too then.
okay, I'll just ask really quick. So I'm actually a teacher. I taught like a boot camp at General Assembly for
Nice.
people transitioning data analytics. I want to create a course. I've actually done the course like in person with like one-on-one.
Cool.
But I'm like, oh yeah, like sure I could teach SQL, but like there's like a bunch of stuff out there. But in reality, could I still be successful if I just created a simple SQL course?
Yeah.
Or would that be stupid?
I mean, so you said I make a course, and can I be successful with a simple course? You are already teaching it. You're already a teacher, right? Today. So someone's already buying it, right? The difference is like the medium is now online, right? It seems like a vaster.
I'm not doing the teaching thing like full time, right?
Okay,
now,
but you can, right? But if you just make the course, no one is going to feel like, okay, I need to buy this course over that one, right? But if you make these bite-sized content and you start building your brand around like, here's how to do this one query, here's when to do this one thing, here's the best databases I like, here's the and you start building yourself as like someone who knows SQL over time. Some guy is like, I like this guy. And they go on, and it's like, oh, he's teaching an intro to SQL course. I want to buy from this guy. It's not about, the choice is really about what is the, it's all about you. It's really about what is the topic and is it already taught, but it's like, who is teaching it and do I like this person? Really, it's really about that. So this is why you is so important versus just the topic itself, right? Make sense?
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining. It was a real pleasure to have this audience.